obviously know with Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark doing amazing things. It's awesome to know that the profiles of each of the individual players are growing, the platforms are growing.
The WNBA has undoubtedly made impressive improvements in popularity recently, thanks to the rise of young stars like Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and Cameron Brink. Their presence has generated more buzz than ever and has drawn more eyes to the sport, bringing women's basketball into the spotlight. But despite this surge in attention, financial challenges continue to plague the league. The WNBA hasn't been able to turn a profit for nearly 3 decades. But Curry has something to say about Caitlin Clark that could turn the whole situation around for the WNBA. Join us till the end of this video to find out what. Stephen Curry's bold take on Caitlin Clark that could reassure the WNBA amid $50 million loss. Since its inception 28 years ago, the WNBA has seen slow but steady growth. However, according to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, the league has been significantly losing about $10 million every year. Everyone, including fans and analysts, hoped that the rise of new stars would reverse the trend, but instead, the losses have only deepened. A recent report from the Washington Post reveals that the league is expected to lose $50 million this season alone, a staggering jump from previous years. Amid these worrying financial numbers, NBA superstar Stephen Curry stepped up with some much-needed optimism. Known for his leadership both on and off the court, Curry offered words of encouragement, pointing to the league's growing popularity and increasing viewership. In a recent Bloomberg interview, Curry said, "The conversations now around the league are totally different. Attendance is up. They're on TV a lot more. The growth of the popularity of not just the individual players, but, franchises becoming more dominant." The 4-time NBA champion went on to commend the impact that stars like Kelsey Plum have had on the sport, especially in inspiring younger generations of athletes. He didn't stop there, also acknowledging the influence of rising talents like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. "You obviously know what Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are doing. Amazing things early in their careers," Curry said. He even gave a shout-out to his godsister, Cameron Brink, who is currently recovering from a season-ending ACL injury. The big question now is, can rising stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese help save the WNBA from its financial troubles? Clark, who burst onto the national scene during her time at the University of Iowa, has continued to make headlines since entering the WNBA. Whether it's her stunning performances on the court or her involvement in controversies, Clark has a knack for staying in the spotlight. Her arrival in the WNBA, along with Angel Reese, has reignited conversations about the league's potential, especially with notable NBA legends like Charles Barkley and Gilbert Arenas throwing their support behind the league. This buzz around the two stars has already had some positive results. Reese and Clark first became rivals in college basketball, and that competitive energy has spilled over into the WNBA. Their matchups have drawn the attention of fans across the country, and the numbers prove it. One notable example is a game between Reese's Chicago Sky and Clark's Indiana Fever, which made history on ION's network. The game became the most-watched sporting event in the network's history, averaging 1.6 million viewers and peaking at 1.9 million. These viewership numbers are encouraging signs that Reese and Clark could help steer the WNBA in a new direction. If they continue to draw in viewers like they did during their college rivalry, there's a real chance the league could turn its financial losses around. Plus, this is just their rookie season. There's plenty of time for them to grow their fan base and build momentum for the WNBA's future. As Stephen Curry suggested, the conversation around the WNBA is shifting. With stars like Clark, Reese, and Brink leading the way, the league might finally be on the verge of a breakthrough. The financial losses are daunting, but with the right players in the spotlight, the WNBA could turn this challenge into an opportunity for growth. Stephen Curry's claim on Caitlin Clark will calm WNBA's nerves as $50 million loss threatens league. Why was the WNBA even expected to lose a $50 million loss in 2024 despite surging interest? Let's take a look back at how it all began. The reports indicating that the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, was set to lose around $50 million by the end of the year started in June, when the league was facing a significant financial challenge. This was despite the league experiencing unprecedented growth in viewership and attendance in the opening months of the 2024 season. In fact, the league ended May 2024 with its highest attended opening month in 26 years, and record-breaking television viewership across ABC, ESPN, and CBS. However, even with this surge in interest, the WNBA remained unprofitable in its 28th year. In 2018, National Basketball Association, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, had disclosed that the WNBA had been losing an average of more than $10 million annually since its inception. Fast forward to 2024, and the Washington Post reported that the league and its teams were expected to lose $50 million, a five-fold increase compared to the previous average losses. The WNBA's unprofitability stressed the importance of securing a lucrative domestic television rights deal for the 2025 season and beyond. Despite the financial hurdles, the league's recent growth in popularity positioned it strongly for negotiations. The increasing influx of college stars such as Clark and Angel Reese played a key role in reigniting interest in the WNBA. For example, Clark's regular season debut with the Indiana Fever averaged 2.12 million viewers on ESPN2, making it the most-watched WNBA game in 23 years. The Fever, thanks to Clark's presence, surpassed their total home attendance from the entire 2023 season after just 5 games in 2024, solidifying her status as one of the most talked-about athletes in the United States. The league's future expansion plans were also key to its strategy. In 2026, the WNBA would welcome Toronto as its 14th franchise, the first outside the U.S., and Commissioner Cathy Engelbert had expressed confidence in growing the league to 16 teams by 2028. The ownership group for the Golden State Valkyries, set to begin play in 2025, was reportedly paying a record $50 million expansion fee. Engelbert was optimistic about the WNBA's next domestic broadcast rights deal, set to start in 2025. She hoped to at least double the value of the league's current media contracts with ESPN, ION, and Amazon, which were worth up to $60 million annually at the time. The NBA, which owns approximately 60% of the WNBA, had already invested hundreds of millions of dollars into the league. Reports showed that the NBA's rights deals, covering both the NBA and WNBA, could deliver more than $7 billion annually, a significant increase from the US $2.7 billion generated under the previous arrangement. According to the Washington Post, the WNBA stood to triple its annual revenue from television rights to somewhere between $180 million and $200 million in the upcoming cycle. In March 2024, there had been discussions that the WNBA might try to unbundle some of its media rights from the NBA to maximize revenue. However, NBA Commissioner Silver did not support separating the rights of the two leagues in ongoing negotiations, arguing that the WNBA would benefit from integrated media rights deals alongside the NBA. Engelbert also remained supportive of this joint approach, calling it a huge advantage, particularly for streaming services that rely on year-round sports content to maintain their subscriber base. Despite the WNBA's growing popularity on the court, the reported loss of $50 million in 2024 was a highlight of the league's continued reliance on the NBA's financial backing. The WNBA still faced the challenge of investing ahead of revenue in order to secure its long-term profitability. In the years ahead, the league was set to receive financial boosts from its new media rights deal and expansion fees. Furthermore, the WNBA's sponsorship portfolio remained strong, with brands such as La Crema, Opil, and Mortgage Matchup joining as partners in 2024. However, the Washington Post reported that only 40% of the WNBA's revenue reached the teams and players. Another 40% went to the NBA, with the remainder going to outside investors, making the financial benefits from the next media rights deal less impactful than they might have been. Additionally, the way revenue was distributed in the WNBA was starkly different from the NBA, where income was shared equally among the 30 clubs. Meanwhile, WNBA players had voiced frustration over what they described as a lack of transparency regarding the league's finances. They also had the option to opt out of the current collective bargaining agreement, CBA, which ran until 2027, prior to the 2025 season. This dissatisfaction among players hinted at possible future tensions between athletes and the league's management, particularly around pay and revenue distribution. The NBA's ongoing support has been instrumental in the WNBA's growth, and while the league's financial performance in 2024 raised concerns, there was optimism about its future. Securing a new media rights deal, coupled with expansion and sponsorships, put the WNBA on a path toward greater financial independence. However, stakeholders needed to ensure a solid strategy was in place to guide the league toward profitability, enabling it to make more of its own decisions and eventually reduce its reliance on the NBA. What do you think about this WNBA end-of-season projected loss and their continued dependence on the NBA? Let us know in the comments section below.